Hello, my friends. My name is Ryan. Welcome to another poetry reading. Today I'm bringing you The Plunge by Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound was a very influential poet in the early 20th century. He is most famous for helping the careers of many young writers such as Ernest Hemingway, James Joyce, T.S. Eliot, as well as others. The Plunge is a short poem. I will read it for you and then go ahead and discuss what it means to me and some of the thoughts that it brings. Okay, so it begins. I would bathe myself in strangeness. These comforts heaped upon me smother me. I burn. I scald so for the new. New friends, new faces, places. Oh, to be out of this. This that is all I wanted, save the new. And you, love, you the much, the more desired. Do I not loathe all walls, streets, stones, all mire, mist, all fog, all ways of traffic? You I would have flow over me like water. Oh, but far out of this, grass and low fields and hills and sun. Oh, sun enough. Out and alone among some alien people. Okay, so it's kind of a odd poem, kind of difficult to I don't know. I wanted to really crank it out, but I was afraid I would scare you if I did. But anyways, maybe I'll do that at the end. I want to talk about this. So what does it mean? When you hear the plunge, what does it mean to take the plunge? That, there's something you've always wanted to be doing. It could be you wanted to try a new food or a new restaurant. These are small things, or maybe it's something big. You wanted to get married. You wanted to take a new training course at a college or a university or a martial art or something, right? There's something that you want to do, but there's a little fear keeping you at bay. We call it taking the plunge even though I'm afraid, even though there might be consequences that I don't really want or I'm afraid of, I do it anyway. So taking the plunge, imagine, is a very simple metaphor, and actually quite literally, there's a big pool of water and you are afraid to get in because maybe it's cold, maybe there's alligators, but who cares? And you jump in. That's a very literal definition of taking the plunge. But we can use this metaphorically in our life. There are many things, many challenges, many things we want to do, like moving to a new house or starting a new relationship or embarking on a new career, and we take the plunge. So it is something courageous towards something desired, despite the potential fears and unwanted consequences. So I like taking the plunge. Maybe I'll talk about some of the plunges I've taken in life. All right, but first let's concentrate on the poem. So I would bathe myself in strangeness. So this is what he wants. He wants to bathe himself in strangeness. What does that mean? Well, we're going to get to the strangeness that he has in mind. But to bathe yourself means not just to sample, not just to touch, but to surround oneself, to be completely engulfed and almost swimming in a medium of strangeness, to get away from the old. These comforts heaped upon me smother me. Comforts. We are living in the most comfortable period of humanity, of our species, right? We have food delivery services. We can order and have almost anything shipped to us within 24 to 48 hours. We have as much entertainment, as much access to information that our hearts could possibly desire. We live in a very comfortable time. And what he's saying in that second line, these comforts heaped upon me. We are, some of you might not be. Some of you might be living out in the woods, but for most of us, and at least in Ezra Pound's words, you can identify this being heaped with comforts on top of you. And it almost sounds like you're being smothered. And that's what he says. These comforts heaped upon me smother me. Have you ever felt that even though you have all of the wonderful, delightful comforts of Amazon Prime, Netflix, and, all the conveniences of modern or suburban life, that you're being smothered? Because we have this thing inside of us that, comforts are nice. It satisfies so much of us. It satisfies our body. It satisfies our fears. But there's something in of us that wants more, that yearns for more, the fire inside of you, right? You can't put too many logs on a fire, otherwise you smother it. And similarly, the human life, if you have too much comforts, the fire inside the human spirit also gets smothered. And this is what he's talking about. I burn, I scald, so for the new. So continuing with the fire theme, I burn, I scald, so it is something really alive, right? When you burn for something, I scald for something, I want it so bad that I'm in pain, right? Scald is a very high temperature. It is you are in pain for touching something so hot. So within Ezra Pound, and perhaps, think about yourself. Have you ever wanted something so bad that you were in pain because you wanted it? And what does Ezra Pound want? He wants to bathe himself in strangeness. He is burning, he's scalding, so for the new. He wants something new. And what type of things? He continues, new friends, new faces. Isn't it wonderful? We love our old friends. It's nice to have old friends. It's hard to maintain some of our older relationships. But isn't it delightful when we meet new people, right? Because it's like trying a new restaurant, or listening to a new song, or seeing a new bird in your neighborhood. New friends are like that. The human species is the most diverse species of any animal, and people are very interesting. And when you meet new ones, especially friends or even the new faces, it is fascinating. Going to the supermarket and just seeing the very interesting people. Places. Okay, here's another. Isn't it nice to go to new places? We feel familiar at our favorite park, our favorite hike, but sometimes it gets boring, right? Isn't it nice to go to a new park or a new hike or a new city or a new town or a new temple? Oh, to be out of this. That is all I wanted. Save the new. So he has everything he's ever wanted. Maybe he has a lover, he's got friends, he's got a place to live, he's got books. And, that's all you could ever want, right? You have everything, except none of it is new. You're used to it all. All right, and going on to the next stanza, and you love, you the much, the more desired. Do I not loathe all walls, streets, stones, all mire, mist, all fog, all ways of traffic? And you love. So going back to that, and you love. So let's talk about love. You the much, the more desired. As we have more love, do we not desire more? I don't know about you, but when I am filled with love, when I am just filled with love, I cannot wait to meet more people. I cannot wait to try more foods. When I am filled with love, I have a bigger appetite for everything, especially for the new. But when I'm filled with the opposite of love, maybe that's hate, I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to bash hate, It's got its place in our taxonomy of emotions, but when I'm filled with fear, maybe fear is the opposite of love, or hate, I don't want more. I don't desire more. I desire less. I'm afraid of things. But when you're filled with love, right, love pushes you to take the plunge, oftentimes. So the love, you the much, the more desired. As you have much more love, you desire more. Do I not loathe all walls, streets, stones, all mire, mist, all fog, all ways of traffic? Now, we can think of that literally. Perhaps we're tired of looking around at the same walls. We feel not only physically closed in, but Emotionally, we can't let ourselves out. We can't spread our wings, metaphorically. Streets, stones, the streets, going left, going right, going straight, going backwards, right? That's not that much fun. Stones, these are hard. These prevent me from really moving. Mire is like a bog or like a swamp. It's hard to move quickly. Mist, I can't see very well. Fog, also it hinders my ability to explore all ways of traffic. Let's go on this freeway, let's go down that road, but it's crowded. Now you could think of that all in the literal sense, where these are impediments to our freedom, but you can also think of it metaphorically. Perhaps there are situations or people in your life or your occupation or your job where your job feels like a swamp, or your family feels like walls. They're blocking you from becoming the person that you want. Maybe there's too much traffic at your school. There's too much competition. You can't really be yourself. You can think of these both physically and metaphorically as some impediments to your spirit's ability to explore, especially with Ezra Pound, his spirit that is scalding for the new. All right. And the last part, I would have flow over me like water. I believe this is love. Maybe it's strangeness. Maybe it's the both. He wants strangeness to flow over him like water. He wants love to flow over him like water. Oh, but far out of this. So flow over me like water, but far out of this, out of these stones, this mire. And like I said, it can be literal or it can be metaphorical. Grass and low fields and hills and sun, oh sun enough, out and alone among some alien people. So what he doesn't want to be surrounded by walls, no, low fields. He doesn't want mire, like a swamp that slows you down. He wants grass. Grass is easy to traverse and it's very comfortable. He wants hills because hills are curvy, not like streets. Streets are straight usually. Hills are curvy, much more pleasant to our senses, much more pleasant to our heart. And sun, which gives our eyes the ability to see and to explore this world, not covered in haze and fog and mist. And we could think about this literally, but also metaphorically. There are periods of our life where we can see clearly. We can look at our life. Our love and our spirit is able to transform and be itself. And there are situations, relationships, either with our family, with our significant other, with our friends, with our place of work, with our school, that is contracting our spirit. We cannot come out and be who we want to be, what we are burning to be. And there are periods of our life and people that we meet that allow our spirit to soar. They are like the sun. They are like the fields. Out and alone among some alien people. So he wants something new. So alien people I have never met. So this poem, Taking the Plunge, first of all, is about escaping a situation where you're sort of sick of it. You're sick of, you have all of these comforts that are heaped upon you, but that are smothering you. You're a comfortable person. You've got all of the things that you can need, but you're not happy because you're burning, you're scalding to get out. You want to get out of the mire. You want to get out of the situation that is slowing you down. Love, you want love. The more of it inside of you, the more that you can get out and desire. What do we want? We want things that allows us to flow, allows us to bathe in strangeness, allows these new alien people, new friends, new places to enliven us. And I think it's very literal when it comes to travel. There's one reason that, for thousands of years. People have always written travel stories. People have always listened to people talk about their tales of traveling. Traveling has been a way for people to expand their personality, to breathe. So often you hear about that person who quits their job, buys a boat, and just starts sailing, or the person who takes the summer off and gets a backpack and goes and travels on the other side of the world, or perhaps in the forest or in the mountains. You are taking the plunge when you do that. When you go off on a new venture, you are risking, right? When you go and travel, when you go to a new place, perhaps you do not know the language, you do not know the customs, you do not know the laws. You could run into some problems. You're getting away from your comfort. It's nice to have comfort, but not if it's smothering you. You want to go and bathe in strangeness. You want your love more and more. You want your desires fulfilled, the desires that are scalding you, causing pain that you want them so much. You take that plunge, whether it's traveling, whether it's just taking the plunge and not even leaving your city, but you're taking the plunge and you're entering a new realm. Even in your own city, perhaps it's a new class. You start yoga, you start karate, you start whatever. It's good to take the plunge. It is good to meet new people, new places, and I think it's great both literally, and literally traveling is amazing, or metaphorically, or however you want to think about it. Ezra Pound was a very controversial poet. He had a lot of trouble in life, but he did a lot of good. I recently read a book by Ernest Hemingway where he talks about how much of a saint Ezra Pound was. He helped so many struggling poets get out of jail, feed their families, launch their careers. Ezra Pound was like a lot of us. He was conflicted. He had a lot of good and perhaps some things that weren't so good. But in any case, I liked it. I liked the emotions that it brought to me, and I hope that you like this poem. My name's Ryan. Leave your comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.